Okay, we are recording. At this point I should say that I think I've done enough gem troopers for a while. In fact, I think I've done enough about enemies for a while. I think it's time to get around to dialogue trees. And for starters I should say that I've got playable character here. Normally with this I'd just use the default main 6, but now that I've added a custom playable character, which is Rainbow Dash wearing a raincoat, figured I should let you know about that because this room is actually going to have a little bit of plot to it. I want to change the background. You can click either here or here to change the background that you see. Let's see, what's a good background? Actually, a blue sky would be better for my purposes. If you want to see what it looks like, you click the eye open to see that. Alright. The NPC that I want to have here is actually going to be Big Macintosh. I'm just going to have one behavior for this, so I'll put stand and talk. You can have spaces in the behavior name. I do want it to be motionless here. Actually, let's give it two animations, right and left. These are each going to be just one animation. Let's see, motionless I believe is the one that I want. And yes, it's Big Macintosh, also in a raincoat. There will be an explanation for this later. Actually, well, I should explain now, shouldn't I? The idea behind this room is that Twilight is going to be trying out some magic that is weather control related, and that magic is, well, she doesn't know exactly what's going to happen. She wants Rainbow Dash to observe because she's a weather expert, and she wants Big Mac to observe because he's a farmer and thus interested in anything that the weather can do for him. So, this is the dialogue system here. Add dialogue. Actually, no, I don't want to start with a dialogue. I want to start with a dialogue tree. The way you start with this is you actually call it add choice instead of add dialogue. Let's call it starter, and this allows you to pick a color that your dialogue choices and dialogue chains will be marked by. You can just mark them different colors so that you can see them at a glance. This starter one, you add the dialogue options one by one. This jump to dialogue if no choices are available thing, that isn't actually going to be used yet. There's actually quite a bit of functionality here that is intended for future development. For instance, when you say add option, first you put what you want the player to see there. Let's say ask why he's here. That'll be what the player sees. Now this pop-up happens. Should this dialogue option always be visible, or should it only be visible when certain requirements are met? If you click this one, it's going to say placeholder for the dialogue to get the requirements from the user. In this case, dialogue doesn't mean discussion that happens in the game. It means a box that pops up, a window that pops up and asks the user for information. Basically what happens is only if C is in the party? What is this? I don't know what the deal is here, but yeah, I'll just remove that one and go ask why he's here again. No requirements. This always show this option. Let's see, basically for this to work, I need to have an actual dialogue for this to jump to. The way it works is when the player has this dialogue option selected and presses space or enter, don't worry about this flashing thing, you can ignore it, it won't appear in the game. As soon as you press spacebar or what have you, the jump to the dialog chain that you specify here. Since there aren't any dialog chains yet, this just shows end dialog. So I'll add a dialog chain explaining why he's here, I'll call it. And I'll give it a blue outline. If you don't specify one, it'll just be a black outline. Now then, actually, you know what? I'm just going to click OK here. I should give this guy a name. Big Macintosh. Make his name color maroon here. And for his faceplate, shoot, do I have it in here? I thought I did. Yeah, I do, right there. Good. Okay, back to the behavior. Dialogue, explain why he's here. Select the player character, Rainbow Dash is a speaker. This little doodad is just a little command telling the dialogue to say Rainbow Dash is talking now. Hey Big Mac, what are you doing here? Then he changed the speaker again so that it's the current NPC. Apparently she's going to be practicing some magic that I might be interested in. Character, Rainbow Dash is the only one I've got, so I didn't know you were that interested in magic. Let's see, current NPC. Auto new line here because I don't know how much of this needs to be new lined. Let's see. You want to click this at the end of the whole process. Let's preview this. Hey Big Mac, what are you doing here? Twilight told me to come here. Apparently she's going to be practicing some magic that I might be interested in. I didn't know you were interested in magic. Nope. Normally I'm not, but I'll take Twilight at her word. Now, if we just go as is here and say, explain why he's here, then what's going to happen is, as soon as the player I shouldn't just trip over my own words like this, but first off, you aren't actually going to be able to interact with Big Mac unless you have a hitbox here. I'll just go with 44 by 44, 30, 0. Yeah, let's mirror that Xbox. X mirror the hitbox, sorry. Okay, now, if the player character, i.e. Rainbow Dash, is standing in either of these two boxes when the player presses enter, then you'll initiate dialogue with Big Mac. But what dialogue are you going to go to? You have to actually tell it, upon player interaction, start with this starter dialogue, otherwise nothing's going to happen. Now, let's say that we actually did this. In fact, let's just put this here as is. Okay, he looks good there. I'm going to save this as, let's just save this as demo dialogue trees. No need to pack it. Okay, starting to run short of time here, so I'd better be quick about this. Let's see, demo dialogue trees here. And there's Rainbow Dash against a blue sky. And as you can see, Big Mac is automatically following you around, at least as far as the way he's facing. I pressed enter and this is what pops up. Press space or enter here and Okay, this is a bug that I'm going to need to fix. Well, even still, this shows you how the dialogue trees work in general. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that bug next. I'm going to be adding on to this level. Obviously, Twilight's not here. There is a dialogue command that allows the user to make it start raining or make it stop raining, and those are some of the things that I'll be demoing with all this. So hopefully this is enough to get you guys started on the dialogue system. I will be going more in depth, showing you more dialogue commands, and showing you how to go back to that list of questions as soon as Big Mac is done talking in this dialogue chain as well. Those are all for future videos, though. One more thing that's worth saying here is that Big Macintosh here, let's see, if I wanted to add more dialogue options to this dialogue tree, or this dialogue branch, I would click Add Option here, and then another option would show up, another box right about here, with the dialogue to jump to and what the player sees and all that. Let's see. Ask why he always says yup and nope. Basically, there would be another box here. I'm going to change this to just goodbye, and then if the player selects this, it ends the dialogue. I'll just click OK, save it as Demo Dialogue Trees 2. Don't need to pack it. Go back to the game. Hope you don't mind that it's still recording. You know, that's probably distracting. I'll just minimize that. Load yes. Demo Dialogue Trees 2. Run over. Talk to Big Mac. Goodbye. And that simply ends the dialogue. So that's how you add additional dialogue options once you've already got dialogue choice going.